In addition to academics, college-bound students need to develop themselves as people, grow every part of their personalities, and explore their interests. Most admissions committees look to see what extracurricular activities a student has gotten involved in, how they've developed themselves to become leaders, and their impact on their communities. Hi, I'm Katherine O'Brien, the founder of Celtic College Consultants. Since 2004, I've worked with teens all across the U.S., helping them grow in self-knowledge, confidence, and find their voices. I help them explore various majors and schools, and I help their families find great college options at affordable prices. We even find lots and lots of scholarships. I attended Northwestern University undergrad and have a degree in industrial engineering. Then I have a master's degree in theology at Franciscan University of Steubenville. So I understand STEM and I understand the humanities. As a college consultant, I've been working as a student advocate since 2004. I've written 3 books, all of which are available on Amazon.com. The Ultimate Guide to Top Quality College Planning is a short book which guides parents to know the backgrounds of college consultants and the variety of services we offer, as well as information about price points for the various services. The 2 college guides have been created for Catholics looking for fellowship on campus. There's a lot of hidden gems, strong Catholic communities, Catholic dormitories, and that kind of thing on many public universities. And there's a spectrum of powerful ministries happening on some of the Catholic-run campuses as well. And so those guides meet those needs. And then the 2019 guide includes an index by major. All of these books are available on Amazon.com. So our extracurricular activities, and that's going to include your clubs, your athletics, your community service, your leadership. It might be community organizations. It might be all through the school. It might be all outside of your school. It really depends. They show your academic initiative. How aggressive are you at pursuing what you love, at exploring your interests? Are you taking summer programs, doing independent research, winning academic awards, participating in competitions? What kind of significant leadership are you becoming equipped to provide, and are you giving? These extracurriculars reveal your personality and your character. They show what you do with your time. They show your particular interests, and any special talents that you have, of course, will be shown in your extracurriculars. In short, extracurricular activities are where you find and explore your inner spark. The real you. During your freshman year, it's a great time to taste and explore a lot of things. You can start to dabble in career search, getting to know yourself better, personality explorations, the pre-ACT. There's a lot of different ways to start to explore what you might want to do after high school. Additionally, you're developing your basic skills. You're learning how to manage your time. You're learning how to become independent. You're learning to serve others and to lead. You're becoming confident. You may not feel like it at first, but you will be becoming confident as freshman year goes by. And this is the time to create a hook. We have a whole nother video in the series about the hook, so I will leave that to that time. But freshman year is a time to explore. It's definitely not a time to sit on your hands and do nothing. It's also not the time to get involved in everything and flunk out. So some balance needs to happen. And go ahead and explore. And it may be that you develop significant interest that's not going to be directly correlated to the career you want to pursue or the major you want to pursue in college. That's okay. It's perfectly fine. And it can be a very powerful element of your college application as well. Let's take a look. Sophomore year, you're deepening that self-discovery, because that's a lot of what the teen years are about, really figuring out who you are. Your body is transforming, your brain is transforming, and your personality is coming out kind of in ways different than it did when you were younger. And that whole process of self-exploration and self-discovery is continuing on. You're preparing for leadership. Freshman year, you were exploring different things. Sophomore year, you've picked some, and you're starting to focus a little bit. And you should be preparing to be a leader next year. So who's mentoring you? What are you doing with yourself? And it's a good idea to focus on 3 to 4 projects or an area you enjoy. You don't want to be kind of continuing the taste testing that you did freshman year. It's really time to pare down and focus your activities and find some things you really enjoy. And if you haven't found that yet, well, there's so many aspects to it, because it may be that I really enjoy this style of doing something, even though the something that we're doing is not my major interest. Or it could be that I really, really enjoy theater, but this isn't my favorite director, or this theater company isn't my favorite, but I'm learning a lot and getting to do this thing that I really love. Lots of different things. And begin deeper career exploration. Do some job shadowing, explore internships over the summer, that kind of thing. What are we doing? How are we preparing ourselves to move forward out of high school? Because believe it or not, there's only 2 more years after this. It goes through so quickly. So we need to be spending time. And as we do explore, our vocabulary improves of what we like and what we don't like, what we're looking for, what we're not looking for. All of that. We're really developing a keener eye to say, hey, you know what? I'm really liking this, or I've noticed that about that environment. I didn't know that thing existed before. So a lot of the difference between before you do this and after really is exposure and the opportunity to explore. And so you need to look for and create and take advantage of any opportunities to further do that. So, and there's a myriad ways to do that. And every community is going to have different opportunities. So it's really up to you to take the lead and start to explore them and go find what's interesting to you and make things happen. Your junior year, this is an intense year, but this time should be becoming an officer and a leader. And part of that's having a vision for your club or activities, or you're going to do the annual festival or something, or fundraiser or event at school or whatever. And you're moving beyond being a member, and you're starting to take charge. You're starting to shape the thing. You're adding your flavor to it. Be impressive. It's okay to go and be fantastic at whatever it is, even though you'll be different from the other kids. That's okay. You already are. You're just letting other people know it. And you're developing whatever that specialness is about you, those special gifts. Go use those. Be impressive, be amazing, and make a difference. One of the Olympians that I really appreciate are, as a pair, it's Tessa Virtue and Scott Moyer. They are ice dancers from Canada, and they're very impressive, and they had to do a lot of different things and move away from home and things like that when they were high school age. But they always make a difference in the different places that they are. They're giving back. They're mentoring younger skaters. They're doing different things. They're aware of the team around them. Their whole attitude is not, I'm king of the hill, queen of the hill, look at me. It's helping others. It's improving what's around them, sharing the light that they have and the skills that they have. And they know they won't last for their whole lives. It's going to be a time to move on into doing other things with their lives because of the athleticism required in what they do. And make a difference. Make the world a better place because you were there. Senior year came so quickly. By this point, you should be focused on what you truly enjoy. And you should be mentoring the next leaders. Again, that's making that difference. It's sharing yourself. It's the world's a bigger place than just you. And so, yes, we appreciate, most of us, the applause we get or the gratitude that, hey, you did this thing and you led that and you gave this talk or whatever, you were impressive in some way. But the coal that warms our hearts longer is that joy we get from mentoring others and passing it on and leaving a legacy that's going to continue beyond us. Even if it's just that person recognizing that somebody cared enough to spend time with them and help them grow their own skills and build their own dream. So we have huge gifts that we can give as seniors, and we need to be doing these things, and that's going to show through every part of our college application because it's going to show through who we are. It's going to show up in how we write our essays, how we interview, how we show up when we visit campus, who we are in the dormitory, and for the rest of our lives. So having this ability to grow and be who we are, be comfortable with who we are, be impressive in the ways that we are, and have this gratitude for things and abilities of others as well, and mentoring and giving the opportunity to others to shine and use our skills and abilities to improve everyone's situation, the community. It's a bigger thing than just us, and that requires some maturity. So take your time with it and let it deepen within you. You know, freshman year, you're just wandering around kind of, wow, there's 800 things to do and the academics are harder and this and that and the other. To senior year, maybe you're driving yourself and you've got to focus and you're not doing the 20 things you did freshman year anymore. You're doing 3 really well, and you're passing that baton on to the next class, and you're moving forward, and you're stepping out into paid internships and jobs and other things, and you really have kind of made your mark and you've developed yourself, and so you're strengthening your voice and who you want to be and what you're going to contribute to our society and to our world. One thing that gets overlooked sometimes, and it starts the day after we graduate 8th grade, and that first summer certainly gets overlooked, are what to do with the summers. It's a rich time. You have 2 to 3 months in between classes, and what are you going to do with it? So we're used to, in grade school, just taking a break, going on vacation with our families, maybe going to summer camp, maybe not, maybe taking swim lessons at the local pool, but we're mostly just goofing around, right? Riding our bikes up and down the street or playing video games or whatever we're doing. We're not really intentionally doing anything over the summer. We're on break. That shifts a little bit as we mature. Summers are times for us to take a class we couldn't take another time, be it a credit class or a not for credit class, to explore our interests in ways we don't have time to do during the school year, to take an internship, to get involved in a summer camp or summer program, and be aware that you need to be looking for those in November and December, the really good ones, the ones that are requiring applications. Fill up early. They have early deadlines. So we need to be looking. And so maybe we're spending some of our summer exploring the options for the next summer. And sometimes we say, oh, I really want to go to that. And it requires you to have gone to this other thing the summer before. Well, I'm glad I'm looking now. I've got 2 more summers while I'm in high school. Excuse me. So what have you done? What are you doing with your summers? How are you growing? College admissions committees are looking. What are you doing with it? This could be a great time to get some mentoring, because I'm getting ready to lead this group, and I've never led a group, or I'm going to have to give talks or run meetings or a zillion and one things. And there's networking groups and Boy Scout leaders and others who are out there willing to mentor young people. And that's what they've chosen to do to give back to their community as adults. Go find them. You've got more time and can focus on maybe some of these other skills that you don't have time when you're busy with all those problem sets and writing papers and things during the school year. It's a great time to intern, to go explore campuses, make your college visits, visit different kinds of businesses, do some research there. Obviously, you're going to kick back a little bit, but there's so much you can do with the summer. So don't miss out on the opportunities of the summers. Dare to be different and dare to be excellent. Take time to identify and pursue your interests. develop your talents. One of the things that happens is high school classes are really like, geez, taking a nibble at a bunch of different appetizers in a whole bunch of different restaurants. And you get a nibble, you don't even get a whole bite. But it may be that some of those nibbles are very intriguing and you want to know more about genetics that they spend a week on in biology class, or whatever, tapas that they talked about. It's a Spanish kind of food that they talked about in Spanish class one day or something, or et cetera. And you want to know more about it. Well, this is your time. Go explore those things. Or maybe you're a really good writer and you're kind of the best in the school or whatever, and they're saying, oh, that's really cool. And it's kind of, you're going, yeah, but I'd like to do more, or I don't even know if there is more. Find the time. Pursue awards. There are all kinds of competitions and awards out there in all sorts of fields. So learn how you can be high impact in your field of expertise. Take things to the limit. You're not going to know until you try that you could win that science fair, that there's another level of competition above that, and then the Intel and the international and this and that, and go, wow. And you look at the caliber. I mean, sometimes even just going online and seeing the caliber of the projects being put out there by other high school students is very humbling. Wow, they're doing all of that and creating polymers and these things. I don't even know what he's talking about. It's so far above what I've seen. Because that student develops an interest, right? And spent extra time learning those things. What am I into? Or that's intriguing. I didn't know there were 48 more parts. Or I want to practice my instrument. Or I'm going to do some extra musical theater and do community theater or community choir. Or I want to sing and do church choirs because a lot of the choirs take breaks over the summer. Well, that means that other people can fill in, right? So I'm going to jump in there and take that opportunity and do that singing before a congregation or leading a congregation. Not done that before. That's scary. Ooh, but I like it. Oh, I'm good at it. Or it's scary. I don't think I'm going to continue that anymore. It's a great time to explore all those kinds of things. If you're an artist, creating a portfolio takes time. Is there a place you could do a gallery showing? You don't have to be the world's greatest in order to have a gallery showing. So sometimes you can jump in. Art studios will have them. Galleries will sometimes have a local artist night or thing like that. So you want to explore, or maybe they don't, but you could talk them into it. Maybe get Starbucks to chip in some coffee, something like that, rising stars, or check out your county fair. There's often art competitions or woodworking competitions or music competitions in addition to all the 4-H kinds of things and all the ag competitions. So what's your thing? Where can you go do that? Get better at it, get feedback, compete, get acknowledgement, get published, give presentations. Where can you do those things? Go open the doors. Go knock on doors. Push doors open. Maybe you are terrified of public speaking. Well, do Toastmasters every summer. You see that, gee, I'm really interested in these fields and they all seem to have that in them and I'm scared of doing that. Well, learn how. The class in school may or may not do it, or you don't really want to talk in front of your peers because you have friends in there and all the rest of it. So go someplace else and learn it over the summer. Learn it another time. You don't want to go crazy and do everything, but when you start finding something you're really into, go for it. And if you're not sure, explore, but explore deeply and develop yourself so that when you do find something that really resonates with you and really intrigues you, you know how to explore it. You know where to look and what kinds of things to do. And you're building connections with adults and other young people that are interested in those things and are used to moving forward. And you find, oh, there's this whole other echelon. It just takes knowing to do it and daring to do it. And it's okay to be a little daring. So here's some examples. You could have a gallery show, as I mentioned. You could start a business. We're seeing more and more students with businesses win science fairs, perform in different places. Athletics, getting published, win whatever, be champion of something. Intern in your field, get out there and work. Be a roadie with a band, whatever it is. There are lots of national academic awards, the spelling bee. In math, there are a number of tests that you can take. There's honor societies, both for homeschoolers and for traditionally school students, Latin exam, the geography bee, the science bowl, the Siemens competition, Intel competition. There's lots of different things that you can get involved in and make a difference and get acknowledgement in your field. Some aspects of things that you're going to want to bring up and be aware of. Admissions is going to be looking for things like, how did you make a difference? For example, doubling the number of students involved in a community service activity or a club, or making a difference in others' lives. There was a student I worked with a few years ago who had one of his classmates developed, or it emerged that the classmate had a debilitating condition. And this student rallied the entire class around, educated them around the condition, and they were able to make changes in the way the school was run to make it easier as the other students' physical mobility declined, and able to support the family in ways that were so impressive. But all it took was one student who cared about his friend. There was nothing they could do about the physical ailment. That was up to the doctors and the medical people, but he led and transformed and created a culture in his school community. Just because he cared about his friend, and he kept asking and poking at why, what else is needed, what else can we do, why this, why is that, what could be changed, and he wasn't the most assertive, energetic person I've ever met either. He was a quieter person, but was able to make this enormous change. And that student that in some cases would have been ridiculed and isolated didn't experience any of that. The student had a great camaraderie in the whole class, and they were just thrilled to pieces to continue to do high school together and to continue their friendships. And it was the neatest thing. It was like the condition didn't even exist. It was such a blessing. Let's see, other things admissions talks about completing or contributing to a worthwhile end product or cause. Like maybe you're creating a website for your school or your activity, or you organized a speaking series at your school around Me Too issues or leadership, or I've had students bring chastity speakers into their schools as they were having teen pregnancy problems, and see a change in the culture in that area. And they're talking about public schools. Learning things and developing a skill or a talent, being an expert at fireflies or lightning bugs, depending on where you're from, right? Becoming fluent in Chinese, or learning about the culture. Maybe your school doesn't teach Chinese. Being a first-rate improviser, like improv in speech and debate. It takes time and extra effort to get really good at these things. Did you reach a goal? For example, becoming an Eagle Scout, or winning the Gold Award in Girl Scouts, which, having been a leader of both, frankly, the Girl Scout Gold Award is harder. There's just a lot more infrastructure and support for the Eagle Scouts than there is for the girls. Don't really know why. Part of it's the way the programs are set up. Part of it just is. But what's that goal? And then overcoming all the obstacles between here and a goal, that shows the world a lot about who you are, and is very impressive for admissions. Made the varsity team of a sport. That could be another example. Okay. And now one other thing I want to mention about leaders is that some of us speak in front of groups and take stage. And some of us are quieter. We're influencers, like that example I gave, or we're mentors, and we work one-on-one. I had a pair of students that went to the same high school in Southern California that I worked with a few years ago, and both tall, lanky kids, and they were involved in different sports at their high school, and they were just both quieter guys, but had a fair amount of wisdom and So the way they did leadership was they mentored younger guys in their sports and taught them things beyond what the coach could teach. And some of it was physical stuff, how to strap their legs and whatnot so they didn't get shin splints. And some of it was mental stuff, how to game the race, how to just keep themselves going and motivated in different situations. And they made a tremendous difference in their mentees' lives, but not in the whole team, because that just wasn't who they were. So it's okay to be a leader without being on the front page of the paper. Some other areas, sorry, I have a slide missing, I think. Been a founder or a president or the first of something important. The founder of a club, president of the debate team, the first high school student to be paid staff photographer for the local paper, stuff like that. Captain of the athletic team, of the Athletes for Christ, or there's lots of different groups where maybe you're doing something a little bit different and you're championing it, leading it. Been part of a championship team or been champion in your sport as well is another one. That also goes for things like speech and debate and academic competitions as well. And there's things like orienteering and darts and scuba diving and archery and uncommon sports to be into as well, which definitely make you stand out. I remember the one guy who was the rifle champion, who was an Olympian, and he didn't have the ability to go to a range. But so where he lived, he would shoot like standing across the street, through his garage, through the door in the back of the garage to the target in the backyard. Kinds of stuff. And just that he would even thought it up and figured out all the safety things to let people know not to go in that area while he was having his practice. It was amazing, but obviously very unusual. Have you changed the nature of an organization to make it better or more effective? Like I mentioned about that one student, sometimes there are inter-school art exchanges. That's an opportunity. Sometimes the older art kids can go into the grade schools and do programs or summer camps. I've had homeschoolers offer summer camps in Latin and in art and different areas that they were good in, and they would have like a full-on summer camp in their garage for a week or 2 weeks with all these other kids coming in. And a lot of times they paid, and so they actually made a few dollars on the side, which was kind of cool. But they also got the opportunity to then teach what it was they were good at and to work with young people. A whole slew of challenges involved in that, and organizing and marketing and lots of different things. They learned a lot doing that. Stood out from their peers, didn't they? And how have you gone beyond the norm in terms of your contributions to the group, to the team, to the project? Written a play for your school to perform, or, gone to the Olympics or pre-Olympic competitions, or just gone above and beyond. How have you done that? Okay. All of that should have given you some ideas of what to do and what to look for, and some ideas of brainstorming ideas for you to start to pursue. For additional help on your journey to college, I'd be very happy to meet with you. Go to CelticCollegeConsultants.fullslate.com to schedule your personal family consultation with me. We'll meet for about an hour via Skype or FaceTime, and I'd be happy to help you figure out what to do and how to frame yourself as you look for the best schools for you to go do what you need to do to contribute to our society, and to also minimize the cost. That's a huge piece of it as well. My website, CelticCollegeConsultants.com, has lots of information on the FAQ page on lots of different topics, as well as information about the services I offer. So all the best to you, and thank you, and we'll see you next month. All right, bye-bye.